Yeah. Are we ready to roll? Alright, well, obviously thanks for coming, the people in attendance, fair play to you on another cold wet night in Rochdale. Obviously I'm David Tully, who's obviously standing in the by-election for Rochdale. Obviously all this is very new to me. I'm like I've mentioned, probably you might have seen a few videos, like I'm not politically motivated, I ain't got a political agenda. I'm just a local lad who, being honest, when I seen the people standing as candidates, I thought we'll have a voice in this, because I think it would have been overlooked, and I think I were right doing so, because I think that's what's happened. So I'm here as David, a local lad, just trying to get my points of view across, so we'll listen to. And I do feel over the last 2 weeks I've got a right good community feel. There's a lot of people showing community spirit, and I'm very humbled of what we've already achieved. You know, win, lose or draw, I think we've really, I've opened my eyes to what this town does with people who volunteer, people who help others, and that's the main objective I want to achieve. I want this town to be proud of itself, and I want it to, I want to support people who help others, and that's one of my main priorities. So I know there's a lot of obviously issues in the town, and I'm hearing them. Obviously, you know, social housing, affordability housing for the younger generation coming through, the topics of obviously the drug use in the town, the topic of obviously the historical grooming that we've had in the town, which is obviously tarnished our town. You know, there's a lot of topics that are addressed, i.e. being this an MP, which obviously I have to come across. There's a lot of topics like, you know, looking after vulnerable people who, you know, and people who are taking the time out to do that. There's a lot of issues that I've looked, which are opening my eyes, which I'm seeing, which sometimes we do live in our cocoon and we just go about our daily routine and we don't realise what's going on in our town. But it's certainly opened my eyes. But what I have seen is how much good is here, and I want to project that to make other people good and make our community proud again. So I can only do that with everyone's support and try and get a good message out that Rochdale's here and we're not going to be deprived. We're going to be proud of ourselves and get things back on track. And I feel with a bit of motivation off people like they do, we can try and do that. You know, I do feel there's a lot of self-pride in people, you know, maybe on the low income scale, who, you know, and I see that as an issue that I need to get into and tackle. Like, obviously, the daily routine of people dropping a litter and not having any pride of where they live. I know these are small issues, but we've got to build on that to make the place a better place. You know, without spending vast amounts of money. Let's get a bit of pride in people, even on the low income. Let's try and embrace them and get them feeling a bit of pride in them, so that, you know, we're not littering the place up. You know, let's have the zero tolerance on the high-speed drivers that cause mayhem in our town. You know, I can be sat at a red light myself and a car can come up from 6 behind and just take over me on a daily routine. That what I see. You know, we need that addressing, and I think with that, and also the drug culture we have, where low-income people and people with not much at all are dependent on the drugs. I want to try and tackle that and get, obviously, the community involved in it and try and help these people so we can stop a crime wave, because, as you know, addicts, to try and get what they need, it becomes a crime wave in the town. If we can address these things, which I see on a daily basis where I work in my family business in the street in front of me, you know, I think that'd help our town. And I know that'll cost, and I know that that's police presence on the street, but also I think I need to, that's the big thing what I feel I need to tackle, is our council, how they distribute money through our town and put money into things, what I feel we as the people need to make them accountable and put it into things that we want, not what they feel is the right thing to do. I feel us as the people, and I'll be the voice of that. And me, I think police presence on our streets is massive, and I think we need that.
There they are.
There they are. There you see, matter of Jedi mind trick. Yeah, so that's what I want to try and achieve, you know, on the social aspects of our town. You know, get the police presence back. I mean, it's not often I see a police car presence or the local bobby on the street. And I know it's old-fashioned policing that, but it's everything. It's like you turning up in your place of work. If you're there, your presence is everything. Things happen when you're there. And if the police are there, things don't happen. And that's what we want, you know. So with police presence, but I want to challenge our council and the government on funding that. I feel we as a town now, I believe it's getting up to 200,000 people. We need that policing in place. We need that structure. We can't keep obviously being overpopulated and not having that police presence to look after our community so we can go about our daily routine happy and content. So these are the sort of things that I see in front of me, what I want to be addressed. You know, one of my big things that I've also want to target, and this is like what I see in business and in home life, is, and where I want the government, and I want to tackle them on this, is how they have corporate companies taking so much money out of the working people of our town. You know, the gas, electric, insurance, these things are things that are a necessity, what you all need. And these companies, what I've just mentioned then, are making billions and billions of pounds of profit, and the government are taxing them. So I feel it's another tax by the government on us, and also these corporate companies are taking that out. I mean, I'm involved with a local rugby club, as you probably well know me. We've got bills there of 3 companies, insurance, gas and electric, of £47,000. We only have 1 employee in that. We have temporary bar staff at weekend, but we have 1 employee. We're generating funds to get kids on rugby fields, women and girls, over 400 children, and yet we're paying corporate companies £47,000. Now, how does that work in our society today? So that's what I want to try and challenge and tackle, and I'll be the voice of that to try and get things over the line. You know, so they're big things what I see in front of me, because I'm experiencing it. You know, again, local issues, like I personally, my local GP, it took me 5 weeks to have a phone call with my doctor when I rung him. That's how long I personally waited. And I'll tell you now, all it were a repeat prescription, because it went out of date. And the doctor actually said to me that, you know, I said, oh, can I have a repeat prescription? And he said, well, why don't we try this? I said, no, well, the repeat prescription works. And I said, well, it's took me 5 weeks to speak to you. If we just have that, I'm okay. I'm fine with that. And he said, oh, you're getting a bit agitated. He says, well, I said, it's took me 5 weeks to speak to you, so I am getting agitated. And he said, well, that's the world we live in. And I took register of that, and I said to him, I said, it's not the world we live in. I said, that's the town we live in. I said, I've got family and friends who live in York, Southport. When they ring the doctor at 9:30 on a Monday morning, they've got an appointment that afternoon or the following day. And that's what I want to, you know, and I'm not here to criticise them. I want to go in there and say, right, what do we need? You know, if we want a doctor's appointment, you want to be seen the following day or that afternoon. We don't want to, we're waiting 5-6 weeks till we have a phone call with them. So, you know, these are things what, touch wood, you know, I'm not there every week, but I know that people are experiencing this on a daily basis. So I want to see what they need and what support, so we can challenge it and get it right, so that our town's being serviced with that, the right, you know, the right services. So, I mean, there's a big, obviously on my leaflets that you might have read, the big challenge is obviously to get a maternity unit back in Rochdale. And, you know, sports people in the NHS, oh, it costs so much, you won't be able to afford it, you know, it can't happen. And I'm thinking, well, why not? Oldham and Bury have got one. You know, again, there's 200,000 people live in this town. It was only 15 years ago, 20 years ago, we built a new maternity ward. We spent money on it, got it up and running, and then we get it taken away 8 years later. You know, sometimes this is where I've got a challenge, where these funds are being spent. I do believe that the council having £600 million to obviously distribute social service and what have you. Now, that sort of money sounds great, but I'll be honest with you, I'll be worried, because the way they distribute it and put things into the place in this town, I'd be worried who's doing it. And that's where me, only with my common sense and having knowledge of the town, I can address it and make it transparent and make them accountable of what they do. So these are the sort of issues that I'm obviously want to challenge and I want to get across the line. You know, and like I said, I've no political opinion. I know these other agendas that are going on worldwide, but I just really want to focus on what's in front of me for the likes of yourselves and my community. So that's what I'm here to do. So and like I said, I've had a great response off the community as a whole, and it's been a bit of a feel-good factor, and it's given us a little bit of hope. And I feel, like I said, very humble that I've done that, and I feel already that it could go further. So, you know, if anyone's got any questions, I'm here. You know, like I said, I am learning on the job, but I'm here to answer any questions to the best of my ability. Yeah.
Thanks, David. Has anybody got any questions? What do you think? You know, we're all here tonight, aren't we?
Yeah.
Is there anything you want David to bring up?
Dave, I've got a question.
Yeah.
There was a lot of money ploughed into up at Oliver Lake with this filming malarkey and all that off the film company.
Yeah.
Where's it gone?
Well, that's why I'm probably stood here.
And what's it been spent on?
Yeah.
Because none of it's been ploughed back into Oliver Lake.
Yeah.
By the looks of it.
Well, I'll be honest, I were at a Littleborough civic meeting and there were locals at that week last. I didn't obviously speak in it, I just listened because they have to stay impartial. And the residents around the lake, they didn't even have a road closure set in place, so people were saying, oh, you can't come in, and anyway they just walked through and said, yeah, I can, because they didn't actually put things in place. Yet I believe the funds have been given to the council, but that's why I'm here, to try and see what they've done with it. What are they doing with it? Because I don't think when they get sort of money, I'd say given to them, because they don't earn it. That's the difference between a lot of people stood here. When we wake up on a Monday morning, we have to go and earn what we have, so we get paid on a Friday. Well, the council are given money and then they just distribute it out. It's a massive difference of a mindset, that how you obviously have money in your pocket. So that's what I want to challenge. See where that money's gone, because at the minute I ain't got the answer for you. But what you are going to have with David Tully is a man on the inside who'll then come out and say, I'll tell you what they did with that, because I've got nothing to hide. Yeah, and that's where I want to. I feel these. I believe with the. I mean that's obviously what's been talked about at Littleborough just week last, the same issue, and where's that money? Is it going to be reinvested into the lake and get it tidied up? You know, parking at the lake, because they're all having issues with the parking. You can't get a coach on up at the lake anymore, parking up for people coming from out of town. So there is obviously issues there, but I want to challenge that. That's what I think my duty would be to the people of the town, getting transparency and accountability with the council. It's at the bottom of my page, and it basically covers a lot of that. Yeah. Just with government spending and what have you. You know, obviously the clean air zone. I've had a lot of people emailing me and messaging me. What's my view on that? Well, I believe the clean air zone cost £60 million to set up, which they haven't pressed the button on yet. They're obviously holding it off. And apparently the sign saying under review, which so me and you know that this is under review, that alone cost £120,000 to put them signs up across our town and Greater Manchester. Now people are making them decisions, and that's with our money. That.
I've got a question.
Yeah. Go on, Spready.
Years ago we used to have a market in Rochdale, didn't we?
Yeah.
So that local people who didn't have a lot of money could go and buy themselves something cheap.
Yeah.
Fruit and veg market, fresh fruit and veg. We've spent all that money, we've got a full-blown marketplace there that's still there.
Yeah.
It's still there, it don't get used.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I just want to know, I won't mind knowing why.
Well, that's it. That's
Bring
another.
people into the town.
Yeah. That's.
Bury have got one and it's thriving, so
Yeah.
why can't Rochdale have one?
Well, again, I've got good for my wife used to work on the market when she were obviously through her teens and what have you. Used to work on the flower stall, and like I said, back in early 90s, 80s, thriving. And you could go on there, get a bargain, and it were community spirit, fruit and veg, Pete Bentley, massive. Even obviously, you know, Yearsley started on the market. You know, look where that led to. So yeah, the question is, close it, move them on the Esplanade, move them to there. There were no answer for them, were there? And they've not obviously opened anything up. It's just stood still. So these are the decisions what we need to challenge, don't we? You know, and get it back up. If they're paying £10 rent a month, at least it's better than nothing, isn't it? But I believe it is privately owned, the Royal Exchange. I don't think it's council run. So again, why's that happened? You know, I mean, look at the white elephant of the wheat sheaf. Did it ever get going? Now it's empty, and we built another one at the side of it. You know, I mean, these decisions. If I'd have painted a car and I'd have said to my dad, he'd have questioned my ability, and I'd have been down the road if it weren't right. But this, you know, we need accountability and transparent of where the money's being spent and invested, because I feel it's been done wrong. Yeah, historically. Yeah.
I was a Rochdale councillor for 10 years, and so I know the answer to the question that you've just asked. There's a long-term plan that's going back years now and moving forward. And if I use the word gentrification, it's to make the town centre of Rochdale more respectable, if you like. And that's why all the money was spent on a Marks and Spencer's, a Next, and that new shopping parade and the cinema complex. So, and the next phase of that gentrification project is to demolish the poor housing, bring down the Seven Sisters, get rid of the freehold, not freehold flats, fairage flats, demolish all that and build housing. So the idea is that the people who work in Rochdale, in the banks and the shops, will rent property and buy property in the centre of Rochdale. The idea of closing the market was because the thought at the time was that the stuff that was being sold on the market was of such poor quality that it was bringing down the idea that Rochdale town centre would be upgraded.
But some people can't afford quality,
No,
can they?
I'm not telling you that I agreed with it. I'm not telling you I supported it.
Well,
I'm telling you that's what happened.
Yeah, I do feel it's like thought and ideas. I believe obviously a lot of the town flats are empty, and they've obviously helped re-own people, and I believe they're reopening up again. So the thought of, well, we've got this idea. It's the same as the clean air zone. We've got an idea, we'll put 60 million on, invest in it. Well, our NHS is struggling. Well, it's just an idea, and that idea is then to tax you all for driving into the centre of Manchester. Where I feel we should be dealing with the things that are important to us now, and then build on that after, if we've got a great idea. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I could happen about lots of things. I could happen about lots of things, but another thing that the council have done is they've just built two massive fancy apartment blocks opposite the Hilton Hotel. They've been ready for months and months and months, and no one's in them. And that's because they've that expensive.
I believe
You
the
need
14,
need to be earning about £2 a week to live in one.
£1,450
Yeah. So yeah.
a month.
And that's because and that's because of the council.
Yeah. Now this is where I honestly feel that common sense should prevail in these situations. It's like, obviously Mark's just mentioned about the Castleton cycle lane. Now, let's have common sense now. I feel we've had a cycle lane going through the centre of Castleton for 225 years. And it's called the Rochdale Canal. Why didn't we get the bikes on there, straight through, keep the businesses open, parking? I mean, Smith's Bakery, been trading since pre-war, has closed.
That was the first one, wasn't it, in Castleton?
I don't know the full history, but I'll tell you now, again, Mayfield's up there and we struggle getting coaches out. The visiting team struggle getting out now with Keswick Street because we can't turn. Where's the vision? You know, and that's your money that's been spent on that. Do you know? And if we pedestrianise and got a cycle lane and improve the canal, then you've got your bicyclists, your pedestrians, and then I know a lad who cycles to Manchester during the summer months. He's works on the construction sites, and he cycles to Manchester. He's a fit lad, and he's not going to come off. He's not going to go on a cycle lane at the Royal Toby to the end because it's like this, and he's going about 22 mile an hour on his racer. So there's your cycle lane. That cycle lane's for about an 8 or 9-year-old. It's just not feasible. It's just not feasible. You know. Yeah. But they've done it. Yeah.
Hey,
So, you know, when the council and that, they get the money to do these jobs, like say these cycle lanes or whatever else in the town,
Yeah.
do the public not get a say what they do with that money? Or do the council get that money and do it and tell them after? Is it not a vote on this is what we intend to do with that money?
Well,
Because like you said, it's our money,
yeah.
so shouldn't we have a say where that money goes? Does that not happen?
Well, this is what you tend to find is, and what you find is, say this meeting here with us tonight, the people want the best for where they live, and we have 25, 30 people turn up. Really, there should be 6,000 turning up and having their point of view and saying no more, but we don't. We just carry on in our little cocoon and let it happen. And I believe that Oldham Road is potentially going to have a cycle lane. Now the meetings will be 2 o'clock on a Tuesday afternoon, so the people who are going to attend, where are they?
work.
They're at work. So then they're earning, paying the dues and demands, for then the council suspend it on a cycle lane that they don't want. And that's the predicament we're in. Do you know? I mean, I personally am stood up here because I want to try and make my town better, but you need support off everyone. I'll tell you what I've noticed in this town over the last few weeks, and you have an insight into it. If every volunteer in this town put the tools down, this town would be rock bottom, I'll tell you. And the council would really have to step up the game, because we're doing a lot of it for them. We're turning up, giving our time for nothing. You know what I mean? And that it's incredible what I've seen. You know, and they'll let us do it. We need to challenge them. We need to get it right. We deserve it. Go on, Mike.
So you know, like the chief executive for Rochdale Council and all the understudies that are under there that make all these decisions. And do they ever live in Rochdale, Littleborough, Milnrow, or are they all from out of town? Do they know what goes on? When them doors close and they go home and they see what happens with traffic around Rochdale, Littleborough and Milnrow?
Yeah.
The stuff that goes on? Or do they just spend the money and then go to the Wilmslow home because they're on 150 grand a year or whatever?
Well,
we know where they live.
Well, again, I believe that's what I want to go in and find out. Like I said to you, all I'll be. I ain't got the answers at the minute, but what I want to find the answers, and I want to be on the inside and see what goes on, and then I can make it transparent and come back. And me, I can come back and say, Matt, that's what goes on. Do you know what I mean? I'll be a fly on the wall and a bug on the nose. I'll do it. You know what I mean? I've got nothing to lose. I'm independent. I ain't got to answer to anyone other than yourselves. Do you know?
And also, when you mentioned about that cycle lane on Castleton, they made the lanes that wide that they couldn't get two wagons through at the same time. So I don't know if you've noticed, but they dropped the curbs. So there's a curb halfway through Castleton on both sides, and then it stops, and then it's just green tarmac. A normal tarmac, because two wagons can't get through, and they've got to go on the cycle lane to get past. How's that work? You know what I mean?
I've noticed today, I've noticed they've actually put loading areas now.
Yeah, they have.
Outside the shops in Castleton.
Yeah.
In the actual cycle lane.
cycle
What are you
lanes.
going to do if you're cycling down? It's like, oh, hang on a minute, like, yeah, I'll go into the road now, or I'll go. It just doesn't.
It's like I said. It's like
accountability.
yeah, it's accountability. I'll tell you now. Anyone who's in your line of work, if you did what they've done, you'd be sacked.
Definitely.
You wouldn't have a payment on a Friday. You wouldn't have your wage because it wouldn't be there because you wouldn't have got paid for what you've done. I believe I found last week that when Butchill obviously put new homes on, and in part of that they actually built on a football pitch. So Wardle Football Club then inherited a football pitch, and they were £400,000. I think it's 106 money, which the council get when private projects are being done. So £400 Wardle. Now you can imagine for an amateur club, that sort of money is like groundbreaking. So the private company then built them this football pitch with 400 grand's worth of money. That pitch is unplayable. It's not fit for purpose. It's not been done right. And Wardle are now struggling to play football, and they're having to find a pitch, and they're ongoing having battles with the council about it, and they not seem to be getting anywhere because it's not been done right. But they've been paid, that company, off our council. The job's been done, and again, so where's the accountability and the transparency in that? Obviously you'd get them back the day after and it'd be right, wouldn't it? Until it's right, and then they don't get paid. But obviously this is where we need to find out the answers, because at the minute I ain't got them. I'm more a complainant like you are. I've got complaints about it, Anna, because I see it go on a daily basis. But I want to find the answers. And that's what I'm going to challenge and try and drive for. Yeah. Anything else?
Yeah, just to sort of go back to what I was saying before, I think that there is a very clear political awareness.
We don't like that word.
There's a political awareness amongst all the local councillors, and certainly Steve Rumblow, who's the chief executive, does what the council asks him to do. It's as simple as that. That's his job. To turn round, if you like, the concept that Rochdale is a failed town, without a shadow of a doubt, and that it's got to be both in its in the things that happen here and the way that it is portrayed. We've got to look at the image of Rochdale and get the public awareness of Rochdale as not a failed town. Now I can't disagree with that in the slightest. I think unfortunately, so for example, your flats that got built, the only way the income of the council can be increased is if the rates that we pay, the community charge, the poll tax, whatever you call it, that's the only money that it's got. So if you build big posh flats and big posh houses and those people pay the rates, then the council has got more money.
Yeah, but the people in them are going to be part of the economy and they're going to spend in it. So everyone benefits.
And they're actually privately owned, those apartments.
Yeah, but whether they're privately owned or not, the rates that those people pay, the council tax that those people pay...
That's the issue why no one's in them, because the council wants too much money.
Right. Well, that's the theory.
So right now they're making no money whatsoever.
Right.
And
So
they won't be making any money forever.
I'm not advocating for the council and I'm not advocating for Steve Rumblow. I'm simply telling you why all these things are happening. It's a long-term plan to try and turn round, right, or in the long term, the image of this town as a good place to live, as a good place to work, as a good, no, don't interrupt me.
Sorry.
As a good place to send your kids to school, right? So you've got the love of your life living in Australia, I've got the love of my life down in London. So they've left Rochdale, they've gone off to make a better life somewhere else. So if anybody is acutely pained by all of this, we are.
Yeah.
I think that for us, the things that we need to do, those are not things that I think are worth opposing, because in the long term, it will do the town good. It's how we deal with the short term. So, for example, my husband saw a consultant on the 10th of January who recommended a pill. He couldn't get an appointment to see a doctor to prescribe that pill until this morning. That's 6 weeks. So we've got to look at how people live, how they exist, how they live a decent life and a healthy life in the meantime while all these big plans are taking place. That, I think, is your and our objective from now on. It's not to oppose the long-term stuff that's going on, because the long-term stuff that's going on is good stuff. It's how people live and get to see a doctor and get an emergency appointment. And we've no more dentists in Rochdale, we've no dentists, we've no doctor's appointments. The NHS is on its knees, isn't it?
See, this is in my mindset. What you have, while we're going for the big picture, I believe you're going to lose a lot of good people, because they're going to say, well, I'm not waiting around forever, the town's being deprived, it's not a good feel factor to it. So while we're waiting for the bigger picture that's on the horizon, which said the council have this vision, we're losing too many good people.
Yeah, of course.
These people who we lose out of this town are leaving jobs, what they were already employed, paying tax. They were part of the community. They were part of doing the voluntary stuff that I praise. And then what we then generate is a community that's carrying people. And I'm not being disrespectful to that, but it's going to outweigh. And that's what I've got to challenge. I can't. We need things addressing today, tomorrow, i.e. GP, dentist. So us, the people are getting the services we need. But we need the accountability of the council. I mean, I might be mistaken when I question it, but I believe they've asked people to leave and re-own from the town flats, the Seven Sisters, give them £4,000 to do so, and then they've lost the rent when they were paying, when they were living in there, and now they're opening them back up again. Now, again, I'll question that, because if I did that in my business, I wouldn't have a job on Monday. Now, they might be on good money, these councillors, and people say, well, that's what councillors earn, that's what they're on, CEOs and all that. But let's question it. Let's get to the bottom of it. How come you've made that decision? And they'll tell me, they'll go on and give me these long words and go around the houses. But let's have common sense. That money could have been invested in something else and help the GPs so where they need support, help the dentist so we've got less queues so you can see a dentist. And like the big picture is getting maternity union back in Rochdale so we've got our birthright back so we have a bit of pride. You know, these are the things that they need accountability and transparency. There's too many failures.
See this long-term vision?
Sorry?
Will all those people here see this long-term vision?
Well, I won't live
will we be long gone?
I'm an old lady now, I won't live that long, will I? No, we won't.
I just feel me that in this town there's a lot of people working 15-hour days, working a rocks off, they haven't got a life, right? Paying the taxes, paying the rates, paying everything they've got, and working the 15 hours a day for the council just to squander the money and put the rates up and make you even work even harder.
And what I would challenge as well, if I were you, David, what I would challenge as well is that concept doesn't make allowance for the fact that we have got some beautiful, haven't we? Hollingworth Lake is, I drive around Hollingworth Lake nearly every day.
We know it's the
and
best.
It's gorgeous.
It's a asset, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the best.
It's like the things you ignore for a coaster park. It's scandalous.
But you've got to remember that we're at the end of the tram line, Rochdale.
Yeah.
So we're at the end So to get people in, and good people in, we need to have something for them to actually come to. So like, you know, like I said earlier about Hollingworth Lake, that can be improved. You know, there's loads that we can do to make people come here, otherwise they're not going to come.
Yeah.
But Hollingworth Lake is full of visitors
Right now,
day
Tom,
in,
right,
day
yeah.
out, isn't it?
You only have to go downtown to go to a bank and do a bit of banking. You're sitting all the banks down, they're all, the banks is going, all the banks are going, nothing to do with Rochdale Council, it might be because they're paying too much for the buildings, I don't know.
Yeah.
We've only got to go downtown, and this is not me being disrespectful to people, but there's quite a lot, we've got a lot of dossers that make the town look not right.
Well, let's be honest, even for me, and I don't, maybe not for Spready, but it's quite intimidating.
Yeah, it is.
It's intimidating.
Yeah.
Now, if I feel intimidated when I'm walking through Rochdale Town
And they're
Centre.
getting paid to get
What are my daughters and younger people, and let's be honest, that's what we want to change, innit? I want to give them a bit of self-belief and a bit of respect. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to dish them, I want to make them part of us and have a better way of life.
But the reason why I said that to her, right, is I walking through town the other day to go to the bank, and some big massive African guy, and it's not because he's a finger, started screaming and shouting, right, absolutely, I think, really intimidating. Even I thought, oh wait a minute, two other lads shouting and screaming, probably the council give them the money to get pissed or whatever, what they've done to do it, and a little old man come walking past me, little old man, probably lived in the town all his life, and as he walked past me he went, this is what this town's come to, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I thought, you know something, that man was frightened.
Yeah.
And we don't deal with it because there's no police there to sort it out.
No.
That's another subject you just said.
Yeah.
If there were police there, they probably wouldn't be doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can blatantly see them walking around doing the deals and everything.
Yeah.
So why is that not getting sorted out? If I can see it, why can't a policeman not
Yeah.
see it?
Well, I'll come back to that because Sean.
You talk about the bigger picture now, about houses and what we want to put up. Look a little bit. You've not even thought of the infrastructure. You've not got buses to start with. You haven't got the schools. You haven't got the doctors, surgeries. What we've got, except more houses, smaller roads. There's no infrastructure there.
Yeah.
So it's okay having a bigger picture, looking at all these new houses. Fantastic, great, but
Yeah.
put the infrastructure in there first and ask the people in Littleborough, what do they want?
I know.
You have these wedding do it, look at our
Yeah.
mess.
Yeah.
It's murder.
I was speaking to a lady in I were in Littleborough Centre Saturday morning, and she questioned about the housing, more houses, and I said, yeah, before they build any more houses, we need the infrastructure. And she said, no, we don't even want any more infrastructure. We don't want any more per here because it's overpopulated already. So, you know, Littleborough is a little thriving little community. It's a cracker.
Was.
And you know, the train, the Pennines, you know, it's quite a sought after area, but it's not going to be, is it?
There's no proper closing them, they turn them into DOS houses after they turn into...
So it's a crying shame, but that's what's happening because that's what I've actually got on me here. It's and it says there, it's planning. Who's in charge of our planning in our town? You know, let's be honest. I mean, who has given the permission? And I've no disrespect. You know, business is open and you make a profit, and that's what it's about. But who has given planning? I'm going to say it's the 80 barbers in the town. I mean, how many people? I mean, I work on Amer Lane. If I turn left and go up Halifax Road, and then I turn right and go up Whitworth Road, I'll tell you now, I'm going to be going past 18 barbers. Who in their right mind can give planning for that?
You're talking to the wrong room, no one's going to hear
Yeah, but that's what I want to challenge. But you're not going to turn the clock back on that. No. They've done it now. Now, who has given the planning for that?
And how do 18 barbers make the money?
Yeah, this is the thing. This is what we need to challenge, because these mistakes have been made. But who can we address with this? Who can we get the point across to say no more? We can't have that, because I'll tell you now. I had an estate agent come up to he viewed my house and don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not turning the lights off yet. I'll stay here until the death. And he viewed he viewed my house and he said, Dave, you got a nice house here, but the problem is the drive up to it. And that's what you think about. You drive, you leave here, and what you have to drive through to get to probably your home sometimes. It's not fair. You know, and this is what's happening. It's the planning that needs to be, they need to be held accountable. Just bad mistake after mistake.
Talking about planning, right? I mean, I know I'm saying not big, but talking about planning, you know I own a transport company, don't you?
Yeah.
You've got Sergeant Newton Way there, haven't you? Loads and loads of land, building all these big units on them. And I turned around to a council and I said, do you know what Rochdale, what that industrial estate needs is a truck stop, so that the trucks can come off the M62 and don't even have to drive through the village. Turn off the M62, straight into a truck stop, have something nice to eat, a shower, something to drink, chill out, have the 9 hours off, and go straight back on the M62, which is perfect, and go. And the exact words were over our dead bodies, we have all them trucks in that industrial estate.
Yeah.
And at the moment they're all going down Station Road, and there's about half a dozen to 10 parts up.
Because they've got nowhere to park. I mean, that's not Rochdale, that's not a Rochdale thing, but Rochdale could solve a massive problem here.
Yeah.
Because there is no truck stops. And there's enough land there to get a truck stop that'll park.
You'd rather put houses on it. You'd rather put houses on it.
Yeah, but they'd rather put houses on it, or they'd rather build a stupid industrial unit that's going to get
Well, they've
rented
just
out
made plans to do what, 4 more units on that, haven't they? That's the recommendation. Rochdale online yesterday or the day before about they're trying to build 4 more units on
That's
that.
what pays the most money.
Yeah.
But there's, like I said, we were all talking about last week, there's no astroturf for kids. Football teams are playing out of town.
Don't bother.
Yeah.
You know, come on, give us something back.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, that's where, like you said, we need to challenge the council on the decisions that are being made. And like I said, they'll let us carry on doing what we're trying to do. Like, obviously, the fundraising, what we do across the borough, the support we give to, obviously, our local charities, what we do already. You know, that's what I want to challenge me. I think with a lot of us are doing the council's job for them. And this is where we need to address it and say, no more. No, you need to be accountable. You know, if they're getting money of like £600 million, we need to make sure it's going in the right places. We need to make them accountable for what they're doing. And that's the big challenge I want to take on. And then I can report back to you. And then I can say, this is what's happening, this is what they're going to thinking of doing. And I can say no more, and I can challenge them. I believe, am I right in saying as an MP, I don't actually have a decision on the council?
Oh no, you wouldn't.
No.
No,
But I can be outspoken, can't I?
well, if you've got your relationships within the council right, then all that dealing and discussion, you never have your arguments in public, do you? But
No.
all that should happen in private, and you should be in a position when you go into a meeting to make an announcement that those decisions have been made and you are in agreement with those decisions. So
Yeah.
that's diplomacy, isn't it? And
Yeah.
having relationships, important relationships. I mean, the only thing I would say is, based on everything I've already heard, I mean, there are lots and lots of meetings which are open to the public, and important meetings, council meetings, for example, are open to the public.
2 o'clock in the afternoon.
No, they're not. They're at night.
Yeah, I think
So,
there is
come
one at
Where's the
6:30 tonight, you know.
notification
Yeah.
So listen to me. There are council meetings which are open to the public. The council meetings are held at 6:30 at night, so you could be there tonight if you wanted to. The cabinet meetings are held at 6:30 at night, and the cabinet meetings are all the what they call portfolio holders, your health, your social services, your elderly people, your transport people, all of those, they're all held at night. And any member of the public, and that includes you and it includes me because I'm a member of the public now, can go to those meetings and ask questions at those meetings and put questions in before the meeting takes place, and they will be asked and they will be answered. So there are ways into that democratic process for anybody at all who's
Yeah.
interested enough and wants to be there.
Where do you find that information out for these meetings? Because I never see them.
Well, I mean, I know when they are because you've got an inroad into, well, on the internet,
Yeah.
on the council
I
website.
I think
It's
Pete,
not open enough to see when the meetings are,
Yeah.
I don't think.
I think-
I reckon there's 25, 30 people in this room and none of us know about them meetings.
No.
We all care about Rochdale, I won't be here.
yeah, I
So
think that's
I
why
understand what
I'd
you're saying.
have be an
but
inside man.
When should we know about these meetings?
Yeah.
It should be- it
I
should be on
think
Rochdale
that's
Night.
why. To be fair, that's what I'm trying to portray here. Is I'd be an inside man, so I'd be involved in what they're doing, and I can oversee and then I can come back and report in and say, listen, the people, I need your help here, this is what they're thinking of doing, and then we can stand up and challenge it. And without, you know, together, you can make a difference. But obviously, one voice, but if you get 100 and 1,000, it makes a hell of a difference, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But
It's getting the council to make effective communication, because nobody knows about things.
Yeah.
So actually what they've got to do is get better at communicating with people.
yeah,
So that people can then, if they've got an issue around, there's a transport representative there, steady could go down and basically attend that meeting over next
Should be a notice.
Yeah, I'd say, and a truck stop would be profitable for whoever had it.
Sounds logical to me, mate,
You know what I mean?
when you said it.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, just like
It wouldn't be a massive expense to build. You just basically tarmac the field or concrete the field, stick a restaurant in the corner, it's done. All your wagons then are not scattered all around the town.
yeah.
They're in a specific place where they can get out of the truck, they can go and have a shower, something nice to eat, rest properly for 9 hours because that's what they want them to do. And
I think that's a big difference with like myself, and it's people who've been involved in businesses, so they have an art of knowing how to earn £1 rather than just to be inherited with it and give it out, and it makes a massive difference. That it really does, because you've got that common sense. If you've earned £1, you look after it. Where I'll be honest, that's the transparency I want. You know, to the difference, the mindset of putting that across to our council, because it's our money. That let's see what you're going to do with it. Imagine giving 600 million to a couple of gentlemen and yourself in here. I'm sure you'd be able to distribute it better in this town and make a difference. And that's what we want.
What I would say is, I mean, I'm here because his daughter and my granddaughter are best friends, and so we are family friends, and I'm prepared to support David as much as I possibly can, because I've been on the inside. I know what's going on. I know what's going on is terrible. I don't want any part of it, but I have got 10 years knowledge of how the council works, how the systems work, how the committees work, how you get inroads into making those kind of influences, and I'm offering that in the spirit of family friendship. I'm offering to be part of the process that I think needs to happen now, and I think David's the right man to do it from today, if you'll have me.
Oh, bless you. Thank you. Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Thank God for that.
No, go on,
Right,
we don't want you.
Right. I think that's it. I think we'll draw a line. Thank you.
Oh,
for attending.
just thank Brian and Alison for letting us use the room tonight. I know we made a statement earlier on in this campaign, but we won't bring it up because I don't want to embarrass him. It don't look like he's got a lot of money in them pants.
I'll just explain the reason for that. The reason why that didn't happen, it was more than welcome to have gone upstairs, but she cleans the line on Thursdays and she'd have pulled the beer through there and been chucking.
Pay-per-view politics.